The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. It is expensive and it folds.
Cut it. That's a wrap.
No, guys, hang on. There's way more to it. We really want to focus on the stuff that can be done with this device rather than stuff that cannot be done with this device. Especially after the recent One UI update, it becomes a multitasking powerhouse. Work hard, play hard. Big shout out to Samsung for sending us this test unit. Sweet. Okay guys, the future is here with the Galaxy Z Fold 2, and we know it folds, right? It is a foldable device. It is a mix between a phone and a tablet, a phablet. And it is one of these devices you really need to use in order to get to know them and understand what it is you can do with them. And I wanted to focus on some multitasking today, some interesting things that happened during the last update, the One UI update, and it makes it so much easier to multitask. But before we get into the multitasking bit, I need to show you what you have to have enabled in order to have the best experience, and that is the Edge panel, right? On, off, and then you can customize it. Leave it on. It is the best way to deal with that right now. When you use the Edge panel, it is important to show you that you have two different ways of dealing with this. And number one is touch and hold, and that is the way you see in all the adverts, the Samsung adverts. You basically hold down the application and then you drag it in, and then drag it in. You have 3 multi-windows open. I use the tab function and I show you why. It makes it so much easier for me though, right? So if you want to open up a PowerPoint presentation, for example, you just tap the icon and that's it. You see what's happening here. You're familiar with PowerPoint and you basically add your title and whatever you want to do. It is a bit cumbersome sometimes, but I can tell you that it is much easier and better than on any other phone I have used. So you want to open up a second application because you want to insert something or you want to copy a table. Let's say in this instance, you want to just insert a picture and you open up the gallery. You've seen I just drag and drop. So here you've seen I just basically tapped the application and it was in here. I want to show you the step number 3 that is important to understand, and that is the rearrangement of the windows in a touch of the button here, right? That's the way it goes this way. That's the way it goes this way, and that's the way it goes with this way, and then we go back to this position. So once you found your preferential applications and position you want to have, you can also rearrange that. Before you do that, in terms of windows, you basically touch that button and then it is saved. So then when you next time you go and open it up, you will have those icons, if it's 2 or 3, it depends on what you want to do, available, and you touch them and it opens up the way you want them to open up. So I wanted to show you a different application and what you can do. I wanted to open up Word here, and let's see, starting price, I think that was the one. I wanted to show you guys what you can do here, right? You have a table available on the right hand side, and then you can basically, let me just lock the keyboard. You can lock that keyboard in order to go better about it, and then you can copy and paste, right? You can copy and paste stuff here and paste the table over here, right? And that's pretty useful, I think. I mean, you can see this is a bit small, but once you've done this, right, you can either work in this mode and then you can rearrange that here the way you want it to, and then you have basically a table copied from a Word document on your PowerPoint presentation or on your slide. And I think this is pretty useful, and once you're done with this, you can basically go back to the original screen style you wanted to, and this is pretty cool. I have to say, it is something I could imagine use every day in order to really get stuff done and not have a laptop or not have a tablet with me. So what about multi-instance, right? Samsung calls this multi-instance, and that is 2 applications at the same time. I mean, 2 of the same applications, right? And it pretty much only works with Samsung's own application, and you can see that it is kind of the internet browser that works well, Samsung Notes, but I found a way to use the Office application also at the same time. You can see here I have 3 windows open, right? So let's do that. Let me open that PowerPoint presentation here again. The one we just altered, swap around because I like that view better, but we can go here to Office 365 in order to get this whole thing going, right? Let me just log in. It says hello, sign in. Yes, I'm back. So once I'm logged into Office 365, I can open up the same application I have opened up on here on the application that is installed, the PowerPoint presentation. It is logging into OneDrive now. It is a bit slow. My internet is a bit slow, but you can see here it's a bit of a different layout, but it is possible that you have the same stuff open at the, well, simultaneously multi-instance if it's not like Samsung's own application. When it comes to the outside display, we really have a different view here. Basically, what it does, it helps you to see your messages and helps you to navigate around, right? I just open up emails, for example. I want to see what's going on here, and I've got a notification that I have to send this back, this phone here, the Fold 2, via UPS to Samsung, right? So I'd see, okay, what's going on? I'm going to open this up, and I've got a full message here. And that pretty much also works for any social media, right? When we go back here, so when you open up a social media account, let's say you open up Instagram here, you want to go here and you see, okay, what's going on? Looks pretty cool though. Yes, I am subscribed to iJustine. Let's see what she's up to. And there you go, right? So I don't know what she's up to, but this is the view you have when you open it up from the outside. And I think that's pretty cool. And the same works for Facebook and any other application you have here. Very important to notice is that when you have an application open, let's say you have, let's say I'm going to have my email open, right? I'm open up the UPS application here, UPS email again, and I want to open up my Facebook Messenger, for example, because I just got a picture from my wife and she wants to say, okay, can you just send this off? That doesn't work with, with Facebook Messenger, for example. You have to save the image first to the gallery, the internal gallery of Samsung's photo gallery here in order to get this going. And so there's a certain amount of limitations, but once you know how you do it and what you do, it is pretty useful though. So look, at this point, we were really digging the productivity possibilities you have with the Galaxy Z Fold 2. And it doesn't stop here. We didn't want to stop here, right? We wanted to replicate a video call, a Zoom meeting. We downloaded Zoom. What is it like when you work from home with just one device? Can you actually do this? And the answer is yes. I was in the basement, Tony was upstairs. The first thing I noticed when I was on my machine that the audio quality that's coming out at the other end is absolutely stunning. And that's led us also to do a speaker test and a microphone test later on. But going through this here, you can see in Flex mode, the top half is basically designed to see your tiles, your video calling participants, if you like, in a Zoom meeting. The bottom half I used for a email or messenger and applications, and basically something that you can use while you have your call. And Tony was scrolling through this and say, yeah, I can see the attachment you sent me and we can go through this. So it is really, really useful to have that Flex mode.
This is the picture and sound quality of the Galaxy Z Fold 2.
But what about the speaker test? And I did something here. I know it's a bit odd, but I put the Tab S7 next to it just to give you an idea what the quality is like. Because sometimes you listen to something on a video and you can't really put it into perspective, right? So I want to use the Tab S7 as a benchmark.
Press to impress like it's prom night. And when you live in top shelf, you know you gotta set the bar high. Had the same dreams since we was kids. Big trips, big cars, and even bigger cribs. Never thought that it would happen just the way it did. Fast forward that now, it's just the way we live. Let's go food and drinks. My mood makes you think that this life's made for a king.
Look, I was amazed about the sound quality that's coming out of the Fold 2 here. Of course, the Tab S7 performs better, right? More bass and it's louder altogether. But for having such a big device compared to a Fold 2 smaller device, the sound quality is actually really, really good on the Fold 2. But there's one thing I also wanted to talk to you guys about, that picture mode, and I'm not going to go through all the picture settings. You've seen it 1,000 times. One thing I want to highlight, however, is that when you take a picture when the fold is closed and you take a picture for your front screen like Tony does here, and then you open it up, you can basically do some pixel peeping here and really see, is that picture good enough? Do I need to take another one? And that I found that personally really, really helpful. But you can also use it as a really big viewfinder. So that big screen, again, comes in handy when you use certain tasks. So what about the fun part of having the Fold 2? You've done your daily grind, right? You've done your PowerPoint presentation, video calls with your boss, whomever you need to speak to, all done. You want to sit back and relax at the end of the day. What comes to mind? Gaming. And that's what we tried. We tried to replicate like a full day of work and then having some fun at night. Universal Fortnite test, that's how we roll, right? 60 FPS, check this out, 60 FPS in Epic settings is available. So we started to use that and wanted to see, is it actually achievable, not just on paper and in settings. And you know what, we connected the controller here, the Xbox controller, and it worked really, really well. We put it up here, you can see that, we just started up, and it was actually fun. And there was a slightly choppy bits, but that could be due to our internet connection. Overall, 60 FPS was achievable, and it was fun to really game with the device and the controller connected. Cloud is really the future in terms of gaming or everything, really. So we started using the Xbox, the Ultimate Gaming Pass, more and more. We also tried this with the Fold 2 here, and you basically choose the game you want to play with, Forza 4, Dungeon, Minecraft. It all works fine, and the device really kept up with it. It was really fun to play with the Fold 2. So far, so good, guys. once the software is really optimized, this device really advances more and more. There's so much more that can be done with this. And really, if you think about it, right, you have your smartphone, you have your tablet on the other side, possibly 2 devices. If you combine that cost, you are already in a Fold 2 territory price-wise. And what I'm really interested in you guys is that, guys, let me know, is there a price point you would consider buying this device, or simply you're not interested? Would you not consider buying this device? Let me know in the comments below. Jens here from Multitasking, and Tony, of course. Thank you for watching. Peace out.
You're so worried about what other people think. You stop standing on your own 2 feet. You spend time in the rearview mirror. The road ahead won't